Bob?
Yes.
Sony's gonna make their own kind of Switch, Bob. How do you feel about that?
I am fully engorged.
Why? That's not normal. It's video games. Okay. All right, let's get into it.
A man.
Obama.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, real quick, shameless plugs. Make sure you check out my newest ASMR video over on my ASMR channel called Tech 25 ASMR. I actually talk about portable console handhelds, Linux-based ones, Android-based ones, FPGAs. Hell, even if you aren't into ASMR, it's kind of like I'm reviewing tech. Go check it out. Link below in the description. Hope you enjoy. So no matter how I feel about the Nintendo Switch 2, you could check out my video on why I regret getting the console now. Link below to that in the description as well. The Switch 2 is sold very well. It shows that people still want to have those AAA experiences on the go. And then you have all of the PC Switch-like competitors that are out there, like the ROG Ally, the Steam Deck, the Lenovo Legion Go S, GPD's wide range of portable handhelds. Sony is paying attention, and they're realizing that maybe it's a good idea to get into that market. Now, we know in 2023 that Sony released the PS Portal, which was a streaming device that initially you would have through your Wi-Fi network at your home, connect to the PS Portal. It essentially had a DualSense on the sides of what looked like a tablet, and you could play your PS5 games that way. Later, they let you stream games from PSN, but it wasn't a standalone device like the Steam Deck, like the Nintendo Switch or Switch 2. But the PS Portal wasn't like the Steam Deck in terms of the fact you couldn't play the games natively on the hardware. It had to depend on either Sony streaming service or it had to depend on your PlayStation 5 to play games on the PS Portal. Now that may be changing though, because Sony realizes that they may be missing out on an untapped market. But unlike in the past, with technology evolving, Sony doesn't have to make a completely different platform for portable like the PS Vita or PSP and make completely different games for it. Now, because the hardware with integrated graphics has become so powerful, they could simply just port the PS5 games they have now onto a portable device. And it seems like the next iteration of the PS Portal is going to be more like a Switch 2 and a Steam Deck than we realize. Now, this information about the PS Pro Portal or PS Portal Pro, I think that's the name that Sony's probably going to go with, comes from a dude called Detective Seeds. I've talked about him before. Recently, he actually put out info about GTA 6 on the PS5 Pro and how Sony's working directly alongside Rockstar Games to get GTA 6 to run at 60 FPS on the PS5 Pro. He also leaked that there was going to be an Oblivion remaster, and that got him banned from a subreddit, and he was right about that. So this guy seems to be on point with his inside information. This actually comes from comicbook.com. I'll read it to you, then we'll discuss. Detective Seeds is claiming Sony is planning to revise the PlayStation Portal in a manner similar to how it iterated on the PS5 with the PS5 Pro. Now, what makes the Pro Portal seem like it's going to be a Steam Deck and not just a streaming device is that Sony is going to implement PSSR into the Pro Portal or Portal Pro, whatever the hell they're going to call it. And that's their proprietary version. It's similar to what NVIDIA does with DLSS, deep learning super sampling, or what AMD does with FSR or fidelity effects, where it can take a lower res image and reconstruct it to a higher res image. It's not just upscaling to make the image look like it's 4K or 1440p, when it may be actually rendering natively by the GPU at 540p. PSSR stands for PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution. So that's Sony's proprietary version of image reconstruction. Now, of course, if you understand tech, if they were just streaming games to this new PlayStation Portal Pro, you wouldn't need PSSR to be implemented on the hardware because you would just be streaming it from your PS5 or you would be streaming a game from PSN, and your console or Sony would be handling the upscaling with PSSR. Because they're actually putting it on this new portal, That means the Portal is going to be playing these games natively, which is a good sign and a good thing. And it makes this new Portal Pro or Pro Portal very interesting. And from Detective Seeds, he also said that this is supposed to be launching in 2026. Now, this is an interesting leak and an interesting announcement because we know that Microsoft, besides the fact they're basically giving up on their hardware, which drives me insane, but they're working with Asus to come out with the Xbox Ally consoles. They were, in the beginning, going to make their own proprietary piece of hardware that was portable, but then they just decided to work with Asus and add those weird ergonomic handles, we'll call them. They look like something else. And so they have the Xbox Ally X, which will be the more powerful portable handheld, where they have like a cut down, refined version of Windows, which will kind of look like the Xbox UI on there. And the Xbox Ally S, which is the lower end model, from what I hear, is basically the same exact chipset that for graphics and the CPU that's inside of the Steam Deck, like literally the same. So you have that on the horizon. You have all of the other competitors from Valve themselves, from Lenovo, from Asus, not talking about what Asus is working on with Xbox, where they have these gaming handhelds that could play AAA games. And then you have the Switch 2, which, with my reservations about it, which I think are very valid, is selling well and shows that people want AAA experiences on the go. And Sony is paying attention to all this. And they're like, wait a second, why don't we just make it that we have a PS Portal and our games, our first party games, we just make to work on there. And then people can have their PlayStation experience on the go wherever they want to and not having to worry about being tethered to a high-speed Wi-Fi internet connection. So I think this is a smart move. I would love to have a device that I could play the Demon's Souls remake on the go and other Sony exclusives on the go. And this could be a real big thing for Sony, especially if they do it right and make games run well on it. I'm actually surprised it took them this long to do it. I'm sure they're paying attention to what's going on with the Switch 2 right now and thinking like, wait a second, we could do that too. And it doesn't mean we have to stop focusing on our home consoles. This could be a completely separate thing. And if Sony is really smart, they may make it completely like a Switch, where some people who may not be interested in a home console, but may just gravitate towards something that's portable or a hybrid like the Switch 2 or the PS Portal Pro or whatever else, they'll make it that you could dock it easily at home and take it with you. So they'll open themselves up to an entirely new market. So I think this is cool, man. I'm excited to see it. I love these handhelds no matter who they come from, except I'm pissed off at Nintendo right now. And the more competition, the merrier. So Sony, bring it on. I want to play Demon's Souls on the go and not have to have a Wi-Fi connection to do it. This is Rich Tomorrow signing out. Make sure you sub to this channel, click that sub button, and I'll see you all again in the next video.